morning everybody, welcome to the flower patch. My name's Iris Smith, where I make beautiful artificial flower arrangements for all occasions. Welcome everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope the weather's okay where you are. It's just very grey and dull and wet here, and cold. Anyway, thank you for all your wonderful messages concerning the graveside spike that I did for the lady yesterday. I did get in contact and send photographs to the lady, and she did actually say that the arrangement represents her friend perfectly, and she was really happy. She didn't want anything taken out or anything else added in, so she was very happy. So thank you for all asking. Right, I stated yesterday a lady asked me if I was going to do a garland on a video. And I did reply to say that I can't do a full-length garland due to it being obviously I usually get orders for about 6 foot garlands plus. Some people just want around 4 foot, and I will do them at that as well. But majority of it is usually 6 foot plus. And I did say to the lady, I only make the garlands to order. I don't really do them on a video because I've got nowhere to place it, and it may not sell either. So, but I did say to the lady, I will do a smaller one, but it's the same principle on how you would do a large one. But I would do it on a smaller scale. At least then I could place it on one of my shelves behind me. So I've got some garland out. I've done it at 3 foot, which is 90 centimeters. And I've placed, it was a plain green one. I placed in some of my garland that is flocked on top as well, just to add that little bit of snow effect. So that's what we're going to do, the size of it. I have chose some ribbon. Now, I'm not sure. I think I don't know whether to place more than 2 ribbons or bows on. So I haven't made any up. So we'll be making these up during the video. Now I've chosen 2 ribbons, one at a 1.5 inch and one at 7/8, and the 1.5 inch is red with gold. I think it's like a garland of foliage in the center, and I've also got the same pattern but with green and red in the 7/8. So I'm going to combine those together. Usually I would add in a plain colour as well, but I thought on this occasion, let's just add in something with a pattern. So that's what we're going to do. So that's the ribbon choice that I've chosen. Now, I have many different styles of garlands that I have done. I know the lady says she wants traditional colours. So that's what we're going to do in green, red and gold. So I have chosen, again, I don't use these all the time on every garland I do, you know, because obviously customer requirements, it's what they'd like. But today I just thought I'll get some eucalyptus out, some of the eucalyptus scenario. We'll probably cut some of this down and add it in and around the garland. I've got out some of my pine needles, what's also got a little bit of eucalyptus in, and some cones. So I thought we may incorporate those. If I don't feel that these ones look how I like to use, you know, create volume, then I will go and get the ones that are around 7 inch. I've got one left on this stem of my conifer, but I have got out another 2 bunches as well. Now I have got this, I've shown you this yesterday, these little twiggy bits what are frosted. I'm not sure if I'm going to use these again because we have got a lot of the frosted effect on the garland itself, but I may just incorporate a few. Now, I've got berries, I've got lots of red berries, but I've chosen to get out my rose hip, but you can just use berries. So I've got these out. I don't know if I'm going to add some in with the greenery, probably so. If not, I've placed a few on single picks with, if I can get it, that one's got, without any greenery on, just maybe to dot around. Now, I've just took out or cut 5 off one bunch, cut them down short, some of my red glittered and sequined foliage, what's quite bushy, what I'd probably like to go around the sides. I've also got out, I've got quite a few packs of these, but my red pine, glittered pine needles also, they come just in a stem like that, in a pack of 12. It says it on there, pack of 12, so I may incorporate those. I have got, now I'm not sure about this, but I have got out my deep rich red birch. I thought instead of just having, you know, the glittered foliage, let's add some red plain without any glitter of our birch. So I've got those also. I have got out my cut out glittered red poinsettias, and I have got one big poinsettia that I'm considering placing in the centre. I've opened it up, but it's red in velvet, green and gold. Oh, I've just realised that one's got another leaf there. So I've cut those, I've opened that, and I'm considering putting that on the top in the centre. And the little red cut out ones, I've made dot those around. Now, I've gone and got some more of these Chinese money leaf glittered in gold. I've picked those out. I have placed some of my gold fern on single picks, so I can just dot those around as well. And I've got some more twiggy bits as again that I could dot those for the, you know, airiness, and add those. I've also got, again, I may not use all of this. It's just, you know, if one doesn't look quite how I'd like it to blend in, then I won't use it. I can't get in. I can't get in the bag. Let's just, no, I can't. Oh, let's rip the bag. I've got plenty of spare bags. So I've got out my gold. Now this is a yellow gold instead of the champagne gold, but I thought I'd add a different tone of the gold instead of all the same. So I've got out the yellow gold in our bay leaves. So we've got those as well. Now I'm not sure, add in a little bit of the ginkgo leaves and dot the odd one around. I haven't, oh, I don't know what that is. I haven't cut these down, so I've decided I'll play it by ear. I don't want to, I think I've got about 3 oddments in there, but I don't want to cut any more down in case I don't add these in. And then finally, to add in, I'm considering dotting around some of our gold cones. Let's get this right. Dot a few of those and incorporate those into the arrangement also. So that's what we've got for today, for the requests that I've had. So I'm going to move everything down. I know it's 3 foot long, but I didn't mind the 3 foot. I was going to do 2 foot, but I thought no, because if I place it on the one on the top, it may look more of a table arrangement. So I'm going to just do one in a 3 foot instead. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to do 2 ribbons or 2 bows before we start. So let's bring the camera down so we can get started and create our bows. One moment. So I'm going to come in. You may not get all the, I'll place it here because then otherwise you may not get all the garland on as I'm doing it. So sorry if it's just slightly offset. Let's move this down here so it looks more centralized. Right. Scissors. So first of all, I'm going to use the 1.5 inch on the bottom, with it being the widest. I do usually like to place the widest one on the bottom. Everybody's different. You can place a smaller one on the bottom. It's entirely up to you. It's your personal, preference. So I'm just going to dovetail. And I just want to, what I tend to do is just, yeah, that would be fine. Place in my tail end, twist, so you've got the gold sheen underneath. Choose the length on here, what I want. I do tend to fold it in half as I push it through because sometimes I found that when I do it with this, it tends to go up like that, and that's not what I want. I want it to stay down with the gold on the underside. So I'm going to do it at 6 inch, then twist, and then do, if I show you, look, it does that when I push it in, and then the 2 sides are lifting upwards, and I'm not really a fan of that, but again, that's just me. Then place that one in, twist again, and I'm going to do the next loop at the same length at 6 inch, so I'll measure it with the one underneath. Twist, and I'm not going to do long tail ends. I'm only going to do one around the similar length to that, and I'm just going to eyeball it. I haven't measured it. Then I will dovetail. Then we'll use the green and red. Again, some people tend to add in a plain. With the green and red, I'm going, instead of dovetailing it, let me just cut that fold bit off. Instead of dovetailing it, I'm just going to fold the ends over so you can see the red sheen underneath. And I'm just folding it like so. So I'll place this tail end on the opposite side to where I placed the first one. Just measure to get the same length. And now I'm going to take this to 5 inch. I usually like to go about 1/2 inch less, between 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So with this, I want to do a full inch. And I'm just twisting every time I go through the dowels. But on your final one where you want to finish and don't want to add any more loops, and you want to just create that tail end, you don't need to twist, just bring it down. And then I'll turn that one back up as well. So that is our first. So then I'm just going to, before I do anything, just move these into position. And if you're wondering, I have had people ask that they don't know where to place the loops. I always, the way I've been, taught, the loop right at the bottom, the first one on the right side, I bring to the bottom. The one on above it, I bring to the top. And then it's the same with the green. The first green loop I created, I'll bring that to the bottom, and the second one I'll leave in the middle. And the reason I do that is because then you go around in your colour, you will see red, green, red, green, red, green, red, and then we'll carry on that one of one colour, one of the other, going around, so then it's all balanced out. So then on this, the first one where I brought the first loop to the bottom, now I'll bring on the left side, the first loop of the red to the top, so it's diagonal from the one underneath, on the opposite side. Then I'll bring the one above that to the bottom, and then this one here, the first of the green, I'll bring to the top, and the second one I will keep in the middle, so it creates like a flower. So then, as you can see, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green. So it's all alternated all around. Then I will get my cable tie. Some people place this on as they start. Again, it's what's most comfortable for yourself. And I will take it off, and now because it's already in the position I want, I will get another cable tie. I'm using a cable tie, you don't have to. And then I will pull, and then I'll get my snips and cut the excess off. And I've got my cable tie here ready to be attached. And now it's all fastened. You can see it's in the position I want, but now I'm going to fluff it up and it'll be a little bit more tough with it, because some people just do it one by one. I will give it a tug like that, so it's all then sits where I'd like it to sit. And then I would just give my loops a little bit of a fluffing up. So it gives them a little bit more of a roundness. And there we have our first bow. So I'm going to do the exact same with the next one. And I'll do this a little bit quicker. And again, every time you go through the dowels, just twist. So let's just leave the red one. And I'll use the green. Sometimes you may see a bit of the wire sticking out at the end where you've cut it. Just get your snips or a pair of scissors and just cut it off so it just doesn't, you know, end up sticking into your fingers. And then this one we did at 5. Just cut it. I cut it a little bit longer than the other one so I can fold it over at the ends. A little bit of wire there. So I always start at the bottom. And there we have that one. And then I'll just make sure these are all in position. Bottom is there. Let's get this right. Just now fluff them back up. And there is our second ribbon. So now we've created those, I will leave these ribbons out just in case I want to add in a tail end at each edge. I'm not sure just yet. We'll see how we go as we go along. Do you sometimes get the pins where they don't go through? I do. So we'll move those out of our way for now. So now we will bring in our garland. And there we have it. And what I'm wanting to do is place one on here of our ribbon, one there and that in the middle. And the reason I've got that and I chose the bows is because they have all got the same colour as this, and they are again like red, green, and so on. And that's why I've chosen that with gold in as well. So that is what we're going to do with that one. So first of all, I like to start with my foliage at the bottom. So let's just cut that off. And I'm creating the boundary so we'll cut all these off as well. I'm going to stand up. Let's get another one. I can never see where the opening is. Oh, that's it. We'll cut these also. So now we have our conifer. Again, you don't have to use these. You could use cypress leaves or cedar. And I always at the beginning place one either end for our longest part. So I will glue this to the main spine of the garland. So I will go under there where I can feel the main spine. And if you want, again, it's the same principle as we did. Do you do a swag or anything to wrap a piece of the spruce around? So I do one piece at the bottom first on one side, and then I will do the other and wrap. Let's go a couple of times. Wrap that one round as well. So I've created my longest points on the garland first. Then I will get my other pieces and I will bring one here, and I'm going in at an angle. I'm not going directly in because the stem may pop out if I haven't cut it long enough. And I mean, I could cut it shorter, but sometimes I just like to see the longest stem. Now I'm going to go again at an angle and then bend it outwards. And I'm going opposite each other. Then I will place one around the middle. Obviously, if it was longer, you'd place more of these in along. Again, because I've doing it on a smaller scale. I don't really need too many. And then again, another one around the centre. Opposite. And then we'll bring the other one, because I've got one in between these two on the other end. I will bring another one in here. And then another one exactly opposite. So as well, don't worry about if you're flattening your spruce or evergreen, because you're going to be placing things on. So now I've got 3 left. So with us having the poinsettia in the middle, again, choice of mine, could do that. I could grab another one and place one here, one here, one here, and I may just grab another one. So let's just cut off another. And then place another one here. So I've got then these on top. So I'm bringing in what I've got at the bottom also on the top. So I'm going to just wrap a little bit of a spruce around. It's not really needed, but we'll just wrap some up. Then I will come a little bit more towards the centre. I'm always gluing the stems to the oh, go on guys, to the main spine of the garland to start with, because once we get further along, you will then, the more elements you've got in, you can start then gluing to other stems. So we've got one there, and our final one. And I'm wrapping the spruce around the bottom of the stem of the conifer, not halfway up, right to the bottom. So that's what we've got, how I'm creating, as you can see, my shape. So now we've got that, I want to bring in some of our other foliage, but in red. And I am wanting to bring some of these in between. As I go here, I'm not going to place a really, you know, bushy bit, because I want to try and keep that line. So I'm going to, let's just cut this down a bit. It's slightly long. I'm going to start in between in the center. Again, now this conifer here has shown me how far I want to go out. I'm keeping within that frame. And this, I'm creating my base. I'm not creating anything where I'm having it going out too far. The conifer is giving me how far I want to come out. So I'm looking at the conifer as I'm placing this, so I know when to stop pushing in the stem. And I will go opposite on this side and do exactly the same. Look at my conifer to see how far I need to go out before I wrap a spruce around the stem. Trying to look for the smaller. And I will go here as well. Again, I'm still attaching it to the spine. So as you can see, I've got it in 4 there, so I'm going to want some smaller here. So I want to place this one. Now this one is going to be slightly staggered. You don't have to stagger it. You know, you can, to a point, you can keep it all the same length. But I like to just give it a bit of a, you know, shape and to it, and a little bit of movement. So I stagger it by placing this bit slightly smaller in length, as you can see, than these. And again, it's not by much. All I'm doing is creating a shape to the garland. Let's see. And I will do the same here. I'm going in at an angle again. Wrapping a spruce around the bottom of the stem. And this is just us creating our boundary and how we want the shape to be. Now I have a few that I've put on picks. If I want, I could bring one in here. But what I like to do with just one leaf, especially these, is just bring one piece on the ends as well, like we have with the conifer. So I will go in. I will have it slightly shorter than the conifer underneath. I'm just creating, again, that shape. I will keep moving the garland so you can see, because I'm not sure whether you'll get the full garland in. So that is what we've done with our birch. I'm not going to add any more in. So that can go there as well. Now, let's see. Now this will go in the center. These are the center ones, so I want this poinsettia to be, I'm just going to place it in so you can see, right in the center here. So I'll just lift it up. So that is what you see. So I've then created with these here some foliage around on the top, and then these on the bottom I've created foliage, so it's like a diamond shape. I'm gonna just keep that there. Let's see if I want to place, I've chopped some down of these in advance because I know I don't want lots. No, we'll add those in after. So then in that case, let's get our Chinese money leaf and we'll add these in. And these just come on stems like that in a pack. And where now you see we've got the green and the red, I'm wanting to incorporate this gold. So I could, if I wish, I could bring these on the bottom as well, and going around, and also if I have any left, I could place the odd one in between the green leaf here. But I've got to take into consideration that I am going to be placing these on the end. So I have to think about where I'd like this. I could just place one on top on the pointing out, have one in the center, one here, and then another one at the edge. But we'll do that as we go along. I don't want to confuse. So I'm going in between the red and the green foliage with the gold. So then I'm bringing in the gold on the bottom as well. Just get a spruce, wrap that around the bottom just to hold it in. So we're adding in that colour and that sparkle to the bottom. We'll just give it a little bend just to make it look slightly rounded. And again, I'm going in between the red and the green. And I'm again looking at the boundary so I don't go out of the line that we've created and of the shape. Just bend that over a little bit. Do the same. Oops, a daisy. I've got the blue strings following me, guys. Do a little bit of shape to that one as well. And keeping that there as a guide. So if you feel that you're still slightly a little confused, just sit your main focal point in this where you're placing it. If you're doing it in the center, and then just sit it in like I have. I mean, I don't usually do it. I used to, but I don't. I've got used to where the positioning is eventually over time. So just place it there for your guide to work around with your foliage along the bottom. If you feel you're slightly struggling, it's a good way to keep your floral and foliage in place of where you're putting things. So now I've got 6, 3 here, 3 here. I could bring one here. How many have I got left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I've got 6 left. So yeah, we'll place one in between these 2 as well. Again, I'm going to stagger this one. I don't want it to be further out or the same. I've just slightly staggered that one. Now do the same on the opposite side. So I've done it like that on this end, so I'm going to go and do the same on the opposite. So in between this and this cypress here. I'm just going to wrap that around. Like that. So now we've got our gold money leaf all along the bottom. I've got 2 left, so I may place these here instead, because again what do I save? No, I'm going to save those because I've got the bay leaves, so I could add the bay leaves in. Let's have a look at our flock. Oh, you have to pull those out. So yeah, I'm going to add those in. Let's just take them apart. So I'm going to just add these in, but I may as well bring these just on the bottom to give a bit of the flocked. Because there's no flocking at the bottom, it's all on the top. I'm going to incorporate this so it balances it out. So they're not very strong stems, so it's a case of these won't really need to be attached to any spruce. So I'm just bringing these at the bottom. I'm going to bend over. These are like paper stems. They're not very sturdy. So as you can see, what we are doing is filling majority of the gaps up at the bottom while we're creating our garland. Get the other one and do it on the other side. I keep catching the glue on my fingertips. Silly me. And then I may let's have a look. They're wrapped in around in paper, I think. There we go. Add one on each end of the garland as well. And I'm going to go just under the red birch and do it this side as well. And then we've got one there also. So we've gone around just with a little bit of the flocking at the bottom. So let's leave that up there. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to glue in the, obviously I've just ripped the paper back off of it, the poinsettia. I've bent it in an L shape, and I'm going to just put a bit of glue all up there. Looking at the two areas where I am, I'm going to just open that up a little bit, and then I'm going to just slide it down the spine of the garland till I get it into the center like that. Then you can either cable tie it or get another spruce here, wrap that spruce around at the bottom just to support it so it doesn't go anywhere. Like that. So there now is our poinsettia attached. Now, look at all the flocking. Now I will, you may think that it looks slightly high up, the poinsettia, but I'm one of these, I like volume in my garlands. So all this under here will all be covered, and the poinsettia will blend in. So for that, I want to add in these. I want to add in a little bit of the glitter, and I'm going to add, let's have a look. I think we should attach our bow. Looking at it, just so then it gives me a better idea of where to place. And with the tail ends on the bottom or longer than the ones on the top, I'm pointing these tail ends outwards like that. So because I've got a cable tie behind, I am going to cable tie this around just one of the spruces. I'm making a U-bend with the spruce. I'm bending it over so that it doesn't come off. Where's my snips gone? Oh, they're here. So that's one. And the longer tail ends are sticking out to the ends, and these are coming in. So that's one end. Now again, I'll show you what I do if I'm adding in a bow. I look for a spare like here and here, spruce. You can either just wrap them around each other at the top, you know, just twist them. So you've created a loop here or a hole. Get your cable tie. Let's look for the longest pieces. Place your cable tie through, I don't know if you can see, but through that loop where my finger is. I can grab it again. Through the loop. And then attach it together. Make sure they're sitting where I'd like them to be. And then pull. And that's so you don't have to attach your cable tie around the spine. And then just cut it off. Have the two longer ones pointing out. Like so. So that is our ribbon, or our bow should I say, now attached to the garland. So we'll go back to our red foliage, and I'm going to place, let's have a look. Just having a look where I feel. I'm going to place one either side. Just above where the conifer is here. So one either side. I'm going to place one under the conifer here at the ends. Under the conifer, so there. And I've got one left, so I'm not going to use that. I could bring those in here, but I do have our other poinsettias and our pine needles. So we'll keep that one out of it, and we'll attach these in. So again, I'm going towards the center. I'm going to get a spruce and just wrap around this stem, especially with it being quite, you know, thin, just to give that support, like that. I'll do the same on the opposite side. Oops, glue string. I'll give it support here. So that's there. And then we will add in one under the conifer. And again, you can get a spruce. Just wrap that around the stem. And the conifer back over above it, like so. So we've got that red on the tips as well. So we'll do the same on this side. Go under the conifer. Grab a little spruce, what's under there, to support it. And place that there as well. So we've got those in. We don't want that. So I want to add in some twiggy bits. And by adding things like this in, we'll give a little bit more interest. Let me just have a look at these while I'm here. Now let's get these in first, guys. Because the twiggy bits are so fine, I don't want them to be hidden. So what I'm going to do with these, above this gold here, this money leaf, I'm going to have one of these. Now I'm sticking these now to other stems. So I'm going to bring those just here. So we'll add and we'll bring one in here also. Again, as you can see, we're starting to like place things around where the poinsettia sits quite high. And if you still feel like here, and you still feel, oh gosh, I don't feel like it's holding very well by sticking it to other stems, or I haven't got any more stems around there that I could really attach it to. Again, grab hold of the spruce and place that around. Let's just bend it as well so it goes easier around. We'll just attach that one. I'm bending them slightly as well because I don't want them sticking too far out. And then we're going to go above this gold leaf again. So then we've got as red added in. So we'll go above here, and I'm sticking it to other stems. And there as well. So we've got now, as you can see, this is how we've got so far. I've got no stems coming through the back, otherwise I would hear it scraping on my work surface as I'm doing the arrangement. So we don't need those. And again, I've got the acorns. I'm definitely going to be bringing some acorns in here. I may have to place those on picks. Now, I know there's a lot of red. I do want to bring just about 3 either side of our poinsettias. You don't have to, so we could just bring the acorns there instead. So we've got our gold fern. Do we add the fern or do we add the bay leaves? Let's get the bay leaves in. We may not need the fern again. I may not use everything I've got out here. But because we've got a lot of red, we're needing to now break this up. So where there is red, you can easily, you place the gold or near to the red. So you're starting now then to break that colour of the red up. With this being the yellow gold, this was, really break it up because it's quite bright. So I'm going to bring one under the bottom and have that as the point on either end. We'll do it here as well. And have that under there also. I'm wanting to bring some in here. I'm going to bend this stem. So either side of the poinsettia in the centre, I can just lift this up. I'm going to bring one in here and I'm facing it this way. I'm, because I'm having it showing where it's basically pointing to the end. So that's how I'm positioning these to start with. So you've got that. And then I'm going to bring one on this side of our bow. You can cut the stems if they're too long down. I tend to, not all the time, but I tend to leave them slightly long because, for the reason being, it gives me, if I need to wrap a spruce around it, it's giving me that length of the stem. If the spruce is quite far down near the bottom where the spine is, at least the stem is long to the point where I can place it. Let me just see what's on top. So I can place it down to the bottom where that spare little spruce is. So hence the reason I don't usually, I do on some things, but not all, is cut. I keep the length of the stem for that purpose only. So I'm going to want, because there's red, I know that's the centre gold. I'm wanting to bring one here, one here. Again, I'm doing the same. I'm leaving the stem long just in case I need support with it. So we've got this gold here and then the red. So I'm going to place in between the red here and under here. Use that spruce just to slightly hold that one in place. And I'm going to have some yellow gold coming from the bottom. So now you can see the yellow gold has lifted the colours and the contrast with all that red that we had in here. So it's taken away that look of too much red, if that makes sense. It's balancing it out. And I'm going to do the same here as well, because there's red on the red bay leaf. So I'm going to break that up and place it in between them both. Again, get a little bit of the spruce just to wrap around the bottom, like so. And I'll do it on the opposite side to that. As well. So that is the gold bay leaf in, as you can see. Doesn't that look pretty? And it lifts it so much. Let's place those in the bag. I don't need any more of the gold bay leaf either. No, again, we probably will add some of that. We'll see. I don't think I'm going to be adding the ginkgo leaves, if I'm being quite honest. No, I'm not. So let's see about our acorns before we move on with some more. So I was thinking one here where, you know, the lovely bows are and the poinsettias. Lean this one, don't have that one sticking right out, because then you're creating a line. Give it some movement and, you know, give it a bit where it's off center, it's leaning to one side. And then do the same up here as well, lean it to the opposite side. And you can wrap these around a spruce, with them having the ring on the top. You can wrap them around the spruce to hold those in, or you could place them on picks. So as you can see, I've leaned that one out there. This one's, you know, well, we'll say vertical, even though to me it's up vertical. And then these on this other end is facing the opposite to this one. So that's where I'm going to place the pine. I keep calling them acorns. Pine cones. So let's look for a spruce. Oh my good gracious, did you see that for a reflex? Oh, so you can get a spruce, place it through if it will go through. And then just bend it over in a U-bend and place it in the position you'd like it to sit. And then you can do that on each side or wherever. Now the thing is, I've not glued these in. Usually I glue them in. So let's glue them. I'm going to dip that little bit and get a bit of glue around it. Just around the top, because I don't want them, when I'm placing them around the spruce, to pop out. And then just place it back on. Like so. So then you're gluing it in. So with this one, I'll do the same. I'll bend over And you can keep moving, because the spruces are wired, just keep moving it till it's sitting in that position you'd like it to sit. And then this one isn't glued. Now we'll look for a spruce here. There's one here. I'll place it through the ring on the pine cone, and then I'll bend the spruce so it's just slightly leaning down. So then you've got that. One moment, I've got a spruce in the way. There we go. Like so. And then I'll do the same on this. Glue the top on. I mean, I'd usually do this before I start. I'd just like to show some of you new beginners, if you're not sure about it, how to do it. And we'll do this one as well. Grab a spruce. And again, if you haven't got a spruce spare, place it on a pick. And then that one here, that one that is glued. So I'll place that through, bend it over. You don't really have to twist it. You know, just bend it over because it is just going in the house. Now, if it was, you know, outside, then everything here would be not just wrapped around some of the spruce, but they would also be glued in, and these pine cones would also probably be on picks as well. Or you could, I would just glue them onto the, once I've wrapped them around the spruce, I would glue them on to the spruce as well, just for a little bit more extra security or support, should I say. There we have that. So we have now got in our pine cones, our gold pine cones, 3 either side, 2 facing like that, 1 either side, and the one is in the center facing directly out. Now I have got, like, you can see my mechanics in the center. I will place something there to cover our mechanics. So let me just see if I want, I'm not sure, I may place one of those in the center actually. One of these pine needles, just in the center of our bow, cover my mechanics, and I will glue it on to the cable tie. So we'll just get those. I think I need the bigger pine needles if I'm going to incorporate them. So I'm just gluing that onto our mechanics and pushing it quite far down, as you can see, so I can cover my mechanics. And I'll do the same here as well. So I don't think they're big enough. So let me just see if I need the bigger ones. I'm going to just bring, because we've still got gaps. Yeah. I should have known that from the beginning. Let's get the bag out. I do have some at this size as well, so I could put a different variety of length in. Let's get a few of those. That was from another project that I didn't use, and then we'll add in some of these. So as you can see, there's a big gap just here. I need that covering. I want something wider that's going to cover it without me having to put lots of different foliage in that's you know, smaller or thinner, which I will end up placing in lots, because with them being thinner they won't take, you know, they will need more stems placing in. I want to just place it in if I can. I'll just place it there and do one this side as well. Now I've got those there, so I feel I need some of these maybe around the bottom, or I could do one of the smaller ones here, then a bigger one, then a bigger one, and then a smaller one again, and then copy that pattern on the opposite side. Where did the smaller one go? Here. There. Let's get the bigger one. I'm just placing them in. I've not glued them in just yet. It's just to say that I'm happy. And I think I'll place something else there. You could stop at this point, or you could add in your berries and other things like that. I'm going to place these in as I've done them here. And again, I'm just going to glue these to other stems. So I'm having one here. One there. And I'm doing it so you can see them, but I don't want, I'm keeping within the boundary that we've created at the beginning. So I will keep them in that boundary. Let's get all these on top done first. Cover up those gaps up above. And again, the same, if you feel you need it to have a little bit of support and you have a bit of spruce nearby it, just attach it to that. One here that I've not yet put in. So again, you could stop just there. And I've added in that spruce, the mountain pine, just to fill it. Again, as I said from the beginning, I like it to have full and have fullness and volume. I'm just going to look with the smaller ones. Just to give a bit there. Don't need any more. So we'll just add these smaller ones as well in between those two tail ends. And there we have that. So that is those done. Now I'm asking myself, do I really need anything else around? I feel, let's have a look at this side. I feel we're okay with the poinsettias. I don't feel we need to add those in. No, I don't. Something's telling me straight away no. Now let's have a look at our fern. Yeah, we do need the fern. Let's have a look at the grassy bits or the twiggy bits. Again, I may bring some of these down on the bottom, yeah. And then our berries, or our rose hips, should I say. And have a few of those dotted also. So I'm not going to put in the eucalyptus, I don't think. Oh, I don't know, it looks nice. I may use that as filler foliage. And as for tail ends on the bottom, let me just have a wee look. I don't know. I may put them at the bottom on either end where the points are. Just two. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the wispy bits first, the twiggy bits, and I'm going to go around the bottom. Now I put 5 on single picks, and then I've got the rest where they've got double leaves on. They have only got single, so the single ones I would place up above, so they're not too much of a big cluster like that. So to make them look more, you know, balance it more, I would just place it in a single one. And at the bottom, that's where I'd place in the double. So let's start under here. And again, they're just twiggy bits. It's just to add a little bit of interest. If it doesn't add interest, then leave it out. And this is why I didn't really, you know, I don't do garlands on my videos because of the length of time it would take. It is, you know, depending, because I like mine full, it is quite a lengthy process. But just to give you a good idea, and even if this is only 3/4, you could still use this on your Christmas table when having your Christmas lunch and celebrating with family. You could still do that. What did I say I was going to place? I'm going to place one here. And then one on here. I've got these two left. These are going under my conifer, right under the bottom. Again, I'm pushing them in so you just see the little tips of them. And then the ones on top, let's cut these down a little. So all I'm going to do with these around our poinsettia, above where these mountain pine is, just there, to add that little interest of these around the centre. And there we have that. So we've got now our little twiggy gold bits incorporated on top as well. So now it's going to be our fern. And these I'm going to bring some along the bottom as well, not many, because I don't want to overpower it with the gold. I can see there's like a little gap here, so I'm just going to incorporate that and have it sticking out a little. I don't want it, you know, really flat. And do the same here as well, fill in that little bit of an area. So now what I'm going to do with these, let's have a look. I've got it there. So I'm going to bring this one up here. just so it's pointing down that to the end. I'm doing it on the other. If you can't see, guys, I'm doing what I've just done up here on the other, on the right side at the bottom. So do I? Yeah, I'm going to dot a few of these around. Right on the bottom. So what I'm going to do with some of these, I'm just putting these where I see some of the gaps, and then we're going to break it up with either the berries and maybe some eucalyptus. Have a look. Oops, the wrong position. I need one more. Just do that with this one. Oops. Put it. That one's not sitting properly. Let's just re-glue it. Right, so I'm going to not put any more of those in. I'm considering bringing some berries maybe up here as well. And some on each end. Bring the rose hips. I've got on single picks. I'll bring one down here as well. Do the same here, bring a berry either side here as well. I don't know if you can hear the rain, guys, but my apologies if you can. And one there. So then I may, let's have a look. Yeah, bring one here and then one down here as well. So I'll place these on picks. And then that will be, I'm not going to put too many berries in. What I'm wanting to place in more than anything is the eucalyptus to start filling in. So let's just cut those. I will place one here. Just above the gold bay leaf. Like so. So I'm not going to add in any more. Again, you don't have, if you're adding in berries, rose hips, you don't have to overload it with them. It's just a little something that you could just see, you know, dotted around. So let's get those out of the way. Now these are the bits that I've chopped already. Let's grab those. I've done quite a few. There it is. So I've got a handful that I've chopped. Now I wanted to leave some long to show you. I mean, obviously if I wanted some here, I would leave those longer. But if you want to have them much shorter, then just get them, push them up, because they are push-ups, and have them like that, where you can just sit them in, or just have them much, you know, a little bit spread apart, so they're not sticking out as much, and use them as a bit of depth like that. Or you can, if you, on here I like to place in just slightly longer ones, just to fill in that gap from here to here on either side. So if I just place those there, so it doesn't look like I'm missing a gap and there's a step. Let's move these out of the way. So that's what I'm going to do with those. Fill in that little gap where you can see here from the conifer to the fern. So I'm placing this in the centre of those two, like that, to fill that little gap in. And that's what I will do around the bottom. Just looking for those little gaps, just to add in, fill in those spaces. And then I will go onto the top and add in some around there as well. So I'm just adding the green in to break it up. You know, anything that's too much of one colour next to each other, I'm just breaking those up. Like here, there's a lot of gold, so I want to break that up and just add in a little bit, sorry about my head guys, of the green. And I will do that all the way. Let me just put 2 pieces on the bottom. And fill that gap in. There. And then 1 here as well. So I've done both of the ends. While I'm going to go, what I'm going to do is just pop, and you'll see me just pop one in, obviously at an angle. I don't want it sticking upright. Just pop one in and around. Just because what I'm doing is bringing the eucalyptus, what we've got here, just up above. So the smaller pieces that I cut earlier, I will just grab those and just pop these in different areas. Again, filling up space. There's the longest stem. So we'll place this one along the bottom. Another smaller piece. Could pop that one there. The longer pieces. There's a little gap here. So I'll place that there again, pushing it in so I'm not going out of the boundary. And there's one here too, so we'll do the same here. Just fill in that little gap. I'll do this one. That. And again, that's all I'm doing is just now filling in right. So I've got 3 little pieces here. I put 1, 2, 3 on that side on the top, so I'll do it in the same pattern. Let's have a look just above. 1, 2, and then 1 here, 3. So I've got all of those in. Let me just clear away all of this flocking and glitter. Hello? Yes, please. Gosh, that's my son asking if I would like a nice cup of coffee. Right, so let me just move this out of the way and get rid of what's underneath. As you can see, there's a lot of glitter and snow. Now let's so we'll keep it like that now. So I'll bring it back over, and now I was considering the tail ends. And let's just take that. I'm going to have a look first, because it's not always necessary to place them in. It doesn't always need it. I feel on each side, you see, my mind's, when I'm looking at it, my mind is saying yes immediately. Even though the tail ends aren't going to be long. So what I'm going to do is just measure and see where I've spruces that I can wrap them around there. So I don't want it going out our boundary where it's hanging past the longest point. I want it to just go about half an inch to an inch shorter than the longest point. So we're looking at around there. So thank you. So I will get my scissors. I place them both on top, and I'm going to just cut them both together across. Now I've got the measurement that I need. I will use this as a template to measure the others, because I want 4 of each colour. This is why I don't like ribbons on my table. You know, when you've not got a ribbon holder, because it's this where it's hanging around me. I don't like. I call me fussy, but I just don't, guys. I don't like the, you know, where it's twisting up on itself, and it's in the way. It's just the way my mum brought me up. So I'm measuring with these. Like so. So now I don't need any more of the ribbon. So let's place that. Where's the red? Red. I've got them all in colour coordination, guys. Under here. As you saw on my video of my workshop. Let's just push that one in. So that one's with the greens. Right. I'm not going to dovetail them. So we're going to get those together. Where's my wire gone? Let's just get some wire out. I've got floral wire. I'm going to pinch like that. Get a bit of wire. Measure it so it's both equal either end when you fold it over. Go one way with one and one way with the opposite way with the other one, and then twist at the back. And then this I'm going to wrap around a spruce, the wire. So I don't need then to glue it or anything like that. And I'm going to, let me get my scissors out because I can feel a bit of wire coming through. Right on the tips. So I'm going to fold these edges over. So that's all I've got. You could do that if you want to separate them or keep them where they're on top. We'll have a look. Now this I want, again, I don't want to go out of the boundary that we've created. So now I will wrap, keep pulling it inwards just to keep an eye on it, and then wrap the wire around a spruce, or you could wrap the spruce around the wire. It's entirely your decision. I, on this occasion, tend to wrap a wire around the spruce because I don't want to move this spruce because it's acting as a bit of filler. So you could do that. But I'm just going to leave it to let it just hang there. And I'm going to do it again on this side. The same thing. Twist. Like that. And I'm going to do this also. Because I've got the red there, I don't want to place the green there. This time I'm going to keep the two reds in the centre, the thicker ones, and the 7/8 on the outer side. So let's get this spruce, and that goes on there. And I'll just wrap my wire around this spruce because I don't want to move the spruce. Otherwise, if I move the spruce, I may have to place something there because it may have created a gap. So that, let's just move that drawing, is what I've created at the ends with just tail ends, just to give it that little bit of finishing off. So let's do it now on this end, the same thing, because it looks a little bit, even though there's the point, the colour is all around on here, the nice golds and the ribbon and the fancy, you know, bring a bit of that fancy ribbon down below, just to give it, you know, blend it, balance it out, and also to give it beauty upon the bottom as well. I'll fold the ends over when I've got them in. We'll do that there. So I'm going to do the same procedure. That all needs to go around there. So let's grab that. If you can't find a spruce as well, you could wrap it around a stem. You know, what you've got in there. Just move that out of the way. So it doesn't always have to be around the spruce. You can wrap it around a stem. And I'm just turning these over twice. And do the same on this side. Let's get this spruce here. That one in the centre as well, the red. Fold it over. And there you have your little bit of fancy ribbon on each end of your garland. Just tail ends. Again, it's not all about having, unless, I mean, I have done it before where I've placed ribbon here as well, a bow, should I say, and had longer tail ends. Again, there's that many different ways, or that, you know, or people have got different styles that they like it. If I have a customer and they do ask, well, what do you think? I do say, well, I may have different tastes to yourself, but for me, if I did it for myself, and then I would tell her what I would do if it was for myself. And if they think that's a good idea, I've had it before where customers have said, oh, I like that idea. Oh yeah, I love that. Oh, can you do the same for me? I have had customers like that. And it's an honour really, because they like what I would have done for myself. So we have finished. I'm not adding anything else. We don't need anything else, guys. We've got our ribbon on the tail end. Our tail ends are there. We've got our beautiful bow up above. So it's carrying on from where these tail ends are. It's bringing it up here. And then this ribbon is bringing the same colours with the gold, because we've got gold here, red and green, onto our poinsettia. And then it's from the poinsettias taking the colours back to this ribbon down here with the same colours. Let's see what colours they are. Oh no, it's there. And back to the same colours, and then leading off with the tail end at the opposite end. So, and we've added, like, you know, the mountain pine. If you don't have mountain pine, you could use grasses. I've used grasses in garlands before, and they look just as beautiful. If you don't have any of these flocked twiggy bits, don't worry. You could also get flocked cypress and use that instead if you have that. And if you know, this is if you're doing it in a traditional colour like this one the lady requested. And then you could just, let me just get that up, down there. And then you could, you know, again, if you haven't got red pine needles like these, don't worry. You could, you know, if you've got gold ones, use those. If you've just got the green ones, use the green. It doesn't matter, guys. You know, you can I always say to people who I've taught, you can always find an equivalent of something that would look just as nice. You know, again, like I say, if you haven't got these mountain pines, use grass, because it's similar, you know, look, where it's spiky and things like that. So there's always an equivalent of something. You know, if you haven't got the big poinsettias like this in red and green, and you've only got them in red, that's fine. If you've only got magnolias, that's fine. If you've got hydrangeas or roses, that's fine. You know, there's always another option, you know. And then that becomes then, and I always said this as well, that becomes then your signature style. It's your style, what you've created, instead of actually copying exact off somebody. Because I don't copy. I don't copy people's work, because it's not my work if I copy. But anyway, aside from that, I hope that you like this traditional look of the garland on a smaller scale. Again, because I've done it on a 3-foot scale, you could use this on your dining room table for Christmas, or in your window with, you know, you could add lights, Christmas lights to it as well, or you could just get some candles and stick some candles in it as well and have candles in. It's your choice. But again, I've done this garland on a smaller scale than what I would usually do one. Just, you know, because I have had, you know, quite a few people asking me, not just a lady recently, but I have had a few people asking me if I can create a garland. So I decided, yes, I'm going to do it, but on a smaller scale, and I'm going to show you how I do the garlands, you know, for either myself or for a customer. And this is how much I'd fill it up. So, you know, again, you could also use deco mesh. You could ruffle your deco mesh into the ruffles and place them and wrap those around your spruce as well to fill it up even more. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Let me just bring up the camera. I hope you can see. I've been worried about this all the way. So there it is. So I'm going to just bring up our camera. So now I can place this on my shelf behind me up there. Because I have been saying to my sister, I need to put some Christmas decorations in my workshop. I said, the shelving behind me looks really plain. I said, and it really needs zhuzhing up, as I say. You know, a bit of the Christmas glitter and decor on it. So this is a good reason to place on. You may not see it, but because it's going to go on the top one, because these are too small. But yeah, there's your garland. And also, if, you know, on the ends, some people like the garlands where they, if you've got a mantle, they just like that on the mantle, or some people like them extended where they will come over down the side of your mantle as well. I do them. I have done them. I've done lots of them. And some people, again, just like to do the ones that sit on their mantle. Now, I have also had people asking me how, because of mine are so full, how does it stay on the mantle? Now, you can get some hooks that will stick to your mantle and do come off, and you can buy those to just hook the spine. If I turn it over, just hook the spine of your garland onto those hooks, and those hooks will hold it in place. Now, because mine are so wide, I tend to, my sister's had one and she didn't think it was going to fit, and I don't always place mine flat down on the mantle. I tend to have them lifted like that, so I can see the full view of the arrangement. And so I always say, you know, to my sister, it will fit. She said, and she did say it was too big. Once I shown her how I tilt it and hook it, she couldn't believe it. She loved it. So that will fit on a normal mantle by just tilting it. Now, if somebody didn't want it as wide, then I would do it to, you know, much smaller if they just wanted it sitting flat on top. But I'm just showing you what I would do if it was for me. I would have it full like this and tilted. But again, even if I do them smaller, they still will be full. I never not have them looking sparse. I do like a garland that is full of Christmas spirit. That's the good way of explaining it. So full of everything, joy, happiness, and that's how I perceive and how I create my garlands. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys, and I hope the lady that asked me to do it, I hope that's given you some idea on what to do, and I hope that you give it a go. Everybody gives it a go. Even if you're just new, give it a go. Try on a smaller piece first before you decide to do a really, really big one. I always say, and I've taught, always try on a smaller scale first, because if you try on a large scale and it doesn't go right, you're obviously going to be upset, and you may want to take it all apart, so you will be taking a lot of it apart. So always try on a small scale first. Once you feel you're happy and you can master it, go a bit bigger and then a bit bigger, like that. So, and you'll love it, guys. So have a wonderful time creating one, whether it be for yourself, for family, friends, or even, you know, to sell. Have fun, and set the music on while you're doing it and sing along. Put some Christmas songs on, get you in the spirit. So have a wonderful day, guys. Please subscribe, share and like, and bring everybody along to see what we can create, and give you some ideas to create something beautiful as well, which I know you can all do. I've seen the pictures, I've seen the evidence, the wonderful creations, and it gives me ideas as well, from what you've created, and then I sit there and think, I'm going to have a go at that, something like that. Again, I don't copy, I use my own, I say mind. Whether it's here all day or not, it's sometimes busy thinking of other things, but I will have a go. So have a wonderful day. Take care, guys. God bless and good health. Bye for now. Bye-bye. Right, let's zoom in. I'm sorry the video is longer. If I did a 6-foot one, it will probably be much, much longer. Let me just get this on. Right, there's the ribbon, the 7/8 in the green and red, and then the gold and red in the 1.5 inch. There's our red glittered pine needles, our lovely pine cones, our twiggy bits, our Chinese leaf, money leaf, our fern, our eucalyptus and our berries. There's our conifer, and then our birch. Here, the deep red birch and the gold Betty leaves. What else did we use, guys? Oh yeah, the mountain pine and this red filler foliage. Again, I'm not sure what it's called, but I just love it. The twiggy bits that are flocked as well. Our wonderful, wonderful, beautiful velvet red with glitter and some little diamantes, poinsettia, and again our lovely ribbon here. I can't remember what else I've popped in, but and some smaller little pine there just to sit and cover our mechanics in the center as well. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys, and I hope that it's helped the lady to create something as well as yourselves. So have a wonderful day, guys. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Bye bye.